Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street. Guys, we're looking at Theta in this video, Theta, on the exchange. It's not a video we've done before, but it's certainly something that I've been keeping an eye out for a long time. Probably dating back actually to maybe in 2020, and I'll go through a couple of reasons why I've waited so long. But also why I'm very interested right now to be really considering adding this to my portfolio in the next 24 hours. So guys, let's go straight into this. So those that don't know Theta, we will do an intro video to this properly in the next week or so. But a lot of you out there do know what this project is about. I kind of put this on a very similar project to the likes of Veracity, for example. But in the aspect of Theta is quite different in the sense that, yes, it's got like a view to earn mechanism, but it's also working on a peer-to-peer structure that allows more efficient internet connectivity and streaming abilities for when you are watching streams or indeed trying to project streams to your audience. So it's very interesting indeed. So it's highlighting a few problems here. For example, the poor quality of content in terms of lack of reach and things like this, the demand for higher data capacity streaming possibilities, and also an inefficient system here, talking about centralized aspects and an efficient system, meaning less revenue flow backs to the content creators. So their solution is a magnitude of things utilizing blockchain, of course. And this really cool thing that a lot of projects at the moment are utilizing is this aspect of peer-to-peer processing power, things like this, that we're able to actually now share across the world collectively, power that we don't need, and pass it on to others for us to be able to utilize things more efficiently. Which is really cool. So we've got the Theta Fuel, which is about the earning reward aspect of when you're viewing videos and things like that. Similar to kind of like how XCAD works as well. But higher quality, smoother videos to decentralized peer-to-peer networks, and a reduction as well of cost of delivering video streams in regards to not only infrastructure, but data capacities and energy consumption as well. So like I said, we'll go into more detail about Theta in a video hopefully next week, but I want to go into a point that I've come across in the last day or so involving this company here called ENTAIN. Now, this is a German article. Of course, we're utilizing the good old translator because I do know some German, but I'll admit I'd probably be reading like 2 words and I get stuck. But this is really cool. So it's literally only a couple of days old through Newswire here. In London, here in the UK, it's going to be the first from ENTAIN, that is. We'll go into that in a second. But the first innovation hub. So this is a global innovation hub. London's going to be the first location of this, where Innovate, so a company of ENTAIN, which again we'll go into a second as well, will be investing up to £100 million in innovation projects, startup investments and collaborations with the UK, European and global partners. Really cool stuff. 40 million earmarked for investment in innovation in the UK. What are they doing, guys? Well, first of all, I'm really interested because we've got Verizon and BT here who will see substantial in terms of connectivity, particularly BT here in the UK, British Telecom. Been going around for decades and decades now, from phone lines to broadband to 5G now, similar to Verizon as well with 5G capabilities. And we've got Theta Labs in here as well, first technology companies to partner with Innovate. We'll go on to Innovate as well as part of ENTAIN as well in a second's time. But this, guys, is very interesting to me because we've got such a big topic around the Metaverse right now. Media, entertainment, sports, guys, is going to change dramatically over the next 5-10 years. Can I put some ideas into your minds right now? Let's talk about a couple of them. For example, sports. You not only being able to earn while you view, but also the ability to potentially get NFTs while you're watching games or something. Imagine a goal being scored and you can get an NFT. There's only 100 available and you've got to be really quick and use up your Theta tokens or whatever the project may be that you're utilizing to get your NFT goal, the video, the goal or something, or you're being able eventually, potentially, depending on the sport and the regulations behind it, being able to be in a governance aspect, the ability to potentially decide things. Maybe, just maybe, one of the substitutions per game will be decided by the fans based on tokenization, governance aspects. Very interesting stuff. It could be things like shirt developments, shirt designs, all this strange stuff that we've seen in many fan tokens around the world, particularly using the things like chilies. But this in particular is great interest to me because the metaverse is also about the virtualization of things that we may do from a lifestyle perspective, or indeed hobbies or interests and things like that. Now, I'm not saying that everyone's got gambling interests or anything like that, but you think about the game industry, like gaming as in casinos and all of these things as well, but immersive sports, gaming in general, esports, being able for ourselves to jump into the metaverse, into a virtual world, and really interact ourselves with people from all over the world in one place virtually. Now, we talk about virtual reality and augmented reality, seeing things in front of you, whether that be through glasses that are coming soon in more mass market, virtual reality of course via goggles like Oculus as an example, but here non-fungible tokens, unique digital collectibles that ENTAIN develops for brands within the group. Party Poker, for example, today announces plans to soon launch its first official NFTs powered by Theta Labs. Really, really interesting. Of course, artwork, music, videos, very big topics for NFTs. But of course, NFTs don't just stop there. We're talking about pretty much anything and everything that doesn't have a one-to-one ratio to it in terms of the power of purchasing. This could be houses, this could be cars as things develop. So this is going to be really interesting. Multi-sport club experiences, and then of course, as we said, the technological partners, Theta Labs being one of them. So this is quite a lot of money being thrown in from an innovation perspective. It's going to be in a very popular area of London. I believe this is where TikTok and another one have head offices there in the local vicinity as well. So it's a very popular area for innovation and new tech companies. But ENTAIN is itself humongous in terms of betting and MGM sports resorts. So a big, huge group. I think their share price is something like £1,600. That's probably about, I don't know, these days, maybe $1,800, $1,800 or so. Maybe a bit more than that. So really interesting stuff going on there with sporting arenas and virtual worlds. But you're looking at this kind of like innovate perspective. Here we go, Innovation Lab, talking about the next level stuff of entertainment, the ability to transport yourself to rooms where all your mates are, or your business meetings, or indeed just going down, instead of going down to your local casino or something, you're just sat in your sofa, you're wandering about on an Omni treadmill, this, that and the other, interacting with people around you in one place, just from the location where you're sat. And I do like this interesting aspect here. Some people were saying like the metaverse is potentially a bad thing and it's losing society, but imagine all the people, whether it's through disability or something like that haven't been able to walk or something like that for years and years. I'm not saying that they will be able to walk physically themselves in the metaverse, but imagine being able to interact, experience and see things that they may never have been able to see before. So I think there's lots of pros and cons to all these different things that the metaverse brings. But jumping back to the topic of things like sports bars here, casinos, humongous amounts of money we're talking about here in terms of market value and revenue opportunities. This is really exciting to see. Now, I'm not condoning or promoting anything to do with like betting or gambling here, but it's just the principle and the mindset around what is literally coming to our doorsteps. And it's clear as day that ENTAIN and Innovate collectively as a one unit are really taking the entertainment feel and factor to another level. Now, I'm a Spurs fan. We got the new stadium, of course. One thing I've been picking up on recently is in the last few years is like things like BT Sport, allowing like virtual reality opportunities for you to put VR goggles on and sit in a seat in the stadium. So I literally trialed it and I thought, there's no way this is going to replace a live experience. Of course it's not. I will always go to games, but for that one game that I couldn't make it, I put my goggles on, and my goodness, it was like with the headphones on, it felt like I was there. There's people moving around me because that's obviously where the cameras are and stuff. And I was watching the game. I'm sat on the sofa and all my moves in my head are following tracking. I thought, this is amazing. It's like I said, it's not going to ever be the same as live experiences, but we've got to anticipate and welcome these kind of new innovative moves in the virtual world. And of course I can very much imagine sports in general, especially soccer here, football here in the UK, where the way society is going, I think like some people are put off now by going out and doing this and doing that, and you could argue that's sad or disappointing and stuff, but I can see a huge market coming for a multitude of people. Imagine like Sky or someone just going, do you know what? For your subscription, we're going to give out VR units, and then like everyone in the UK has got a VR unit commercially provided through your subscription, and then literally you don't need to worry about going to sport events anymore. Everyone's just interacting. We can all meet at the sports bar at half time virtually, and then all of a sudden you're stuck there in the game, in the stadium with your own season ticket seat or whatever it may be, or you're bidding or auctioning yourself for a seat. And you've got a virtual seat there from the comfort of your sofa. That's where we're going. So I'm thinking about the Theta token, back to the point here, is this whole ENTAIN aspect and the fact that Theta are very heavily involved in the NFT side of things. I can see the massive potential in NFTs through sporting events, both through live and also fan governance as well. And of course, if Theta do indeed integrate something like they do with their Theta TV and other aspects of view to earn, imagine utilizing this aspect, watching your familiar sports you already do on TV but getting paid for it. So this is one of the major reasons why I'm interested in Theta right now. I always have been, but I've been waiting for the right time. But the other side of the coin for me is the current price point of Theta. Let's jump into that right now. Smash that like button if you like what you hear and see, and do subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. I'm going to be fairly quick on the chart because I've got a few videos to do, but I just wanted to sort of emphasize a couple of reasonings behind my thought process of adding Theta to my portfolio tonight. So first things first, from this previous all-time high here in April last year, we've had around about an 85% reduction in price to its current recent prices about a week ago. Now, if we take it from the most recent high point here of around September, which is a guideline which we've used on a multitude of assets in the last few weeks to confirm whether we're at the rough bottoms of these price charts at the moment, and that's taken us to around 75% reduction. So very much around the areas that we tend to look at in terms of determining a rough 3-month cycle and the bottoming of a price chart. Now, that's not to say we won't go in, potentially lower, and equally it's not suggesting that we're about to bounce up and go on a nice tangent upwards. But what I would like to make clear here is the price point that we are currently at compared to where we have been, and more importantly as well, for me, is missed opportunities in the past as well. So I'm just going to put a quick fib retracement in here on a couple of areas just to get some identified points, also taking it from here to the top as well and crossover, just so we've got a couple of areas of interest here to look at. So for me, when I was first thinking about Theta, it was in 2020. We weren't even at the dollar, and I remember when it got to around $2, in my mind, and this is how naive I was even back then, was that this was too expensive. Now, I was kind of half right in the sense of the rest of my portfolio. Okay, I was trying to build my portfolio and didn't really want to add any more. Okay, so for me, it was like, to have a significant go at Theta, I want to have it at a decent price. I've missed the lower regions, but this is possibly the next stage that I could have looked at. But at the time, it wasn't suitable for me. Look at that mega rise that we had from these low points. I think I was like looking at Theta, I think it was around October 2020. Okay, so it was roughly around 50 cents, right? But since that move from October 2020 to the all-time high of April 2021, talking about like maybe 5-6 months there, a staggering 3,000% increase in value, which is absolutely phenomenal. Since that uptake, we couldn't manage to get ourselves back up to these areas, despite people saying when we had these correctional periods around late April, and even I remember the conversations back down here in July, people were thinking, oh, this is a nice bounce back, we'll go straight up here. It's similar concept to many of the other assets out there as well, but it didn't happen. So we've bounced back down. We've had a long correctional period since last April. We're very much nearly anniversarying that in 2 months time. So what we've got is this top sort of area around $15-16, which is actually quite phenomenal really. But we're now floating around $2.75 as of recording today. Why is this of great interest to me? Well, it's of interest for a couple of reasons. Because we are testing unique areas that we've seen back here, back in February 2021. We're also seeing some areas that we have back here in December, January 2020 to 2021 in January as well. This is where we're fighting right now. So if we were to draw, for example, the opportunist area across the line here, we will see that we're literally badgering this area right now. This is why I'm interested. I missed the tail down maybe a week ago. What was this, 23rd, 24th of January, down to the lower regions where I had an original buy box in, which I didn't actually activate on my KuCoin, and we managed to hit that. So it's now come back up. It's bounced off this top area, can you believe it? And now we're in the middle area. So for me personally, I'm going to start dollar cost averaging this in the anticipation that if it does bounce back up, fantastic. If it doesn't, I'm going to take this area down here as well. So I've certainly got buy orders in just under that 250 mark, and I will indeed be purchasing tonight at its current relative area right now, which is testing the area that we saw on the 24th and 23rd of January, but also back here. Why is this of interest to me? Because we have got a humongous price discovery momentum from this period here in February all the way up to April. What this means to me is that there has been very limited areas of resistance and support other than these particular areas which we've bounced around so many times over this year or so period. But the grand principle is that from this point onwards, we're on a big testing momentum. Look at that. Came back down here in May, came back down here in July, and more recently in December and January. These are very limited touch points, especially here. Let me just get rid of that line. Especially here in May, and a very small touch down here over a few days period back here. So in my opinion, it's not enough. And we failed this area most recently in January, late January, around the 20th, and we put ourselves back down here. So this is why I'm interested, because there is an potential argument to say that we might test this previous region here as well, down at the lower regions of $2. That is why I am putting a buy order in now. I'll be putting one in just under the 250 mark. And maybe, just maybe, potentially to touch upon these areas down at these lower regions around 230. So that is what I'm doing with Theta. That's why I'm interested. I'm interested because the continuation of the project of Theta, I see massive, humongous potential, beyond what they've already done, and particularly with these awesome partnerships with the likes of ENTAIN and Innovate. And many others, of course, out there. The integration with other technologies like with Verizon and BT and many more out there as well to power this next level of entertainment, video viewing, and streaming capabilities. I'm personally excited about this. Now, if Bitcoin continues to do what it's doing, there is this talk still of a bounce around the potential bounce around the 32 and 30k mark again. This, in my opinion, is what's going to drag us potentially down to these lower regions, testing the lower aspect of $2 again. This is where I'm going to put a chunk of USDT ready to buy in those areas as well. But for me right now is these 2 or 3 critical areas that we've just spoken about. So those are the 2 big reasons why I'm now very interested in Theta. I missed through ignorance this area here back in 2021 January, literally a year ago. We are facing the same price points that we did a year ago. Can you believe it? So it's very touch and tail whether we break that and come down further or not, of course. But I'm not going to make this mistake again. I'm going to DCA it in the sense that if it does come back down, I will be doing it in principal purchases for sure. But I don't think it's the end of Theta. I don't think it's the end of many assets this year at all. I just think we need to find those final bottom out prices. And I'm sure Theta is doing similar as well. Guys, that wraps this video up. Let us know what you have been doing with your Theta. Have you been a long-term holder, a short-term holder? Are you like me that's very interested right now to add this to your portfolio? Really interested to know, but we'll definitely cover Theta more often. It's certainly a big, good project. I just haven't covered it much because I don't really hold it in my portfolio right now, but I certainly will be tonight. Guys, we're going to wrap that up there. Hopefully we'll see you in the next Theta update. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.